According to old stories, people think Moses wrote some of the oldest and most important texts in the Bible. Many smart people say he wrote key books like Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and even the book of Job. But what if I told you there's another book thought to be by Moses, but kept secret for a long time? A mysterious text found with the oldest Bible records, the Dead Sea Scrolls. This book is called the Book of Jubilees. In this video, we'll look into this puzzling book. Could it be a lost Bible book? Let's find out why it was left out of the Bible and the ancient truths it still has. The Book of Jubilees is often called the Little Genesis because it has details, interesting things, and mysteries not in Genesis. This old Jewish text has about 50 chapters and 1,341 verses. It's seen as important by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and Beta Israel, the Ethiopian Jews. In Ethiopian belief, the Book of Jubilees is called the Book of Division and is kept in Ge'ez, an ancient Ethiopian language. This special book helps us understand the creation stories and early Bible events better, showing different views from Genesis, including bits of Jewish history and ideas about the universe. During the time of Christ and before, many Jews, rabbis, teachers, and law experts read and respected the Book of Jubilees. They often mentioned it in discussions and teachings. Today's Jewish religion doesn't see it as official, but Ethiopian Jews, called Beta Israel, consider it sacred and vital to their beliefs and culture. Early Christians also knew about the book and quoted it often. Writers like Epiphanius, Justin Martyr, Origen, Diodorus of Tarsus, Isidore of Alexandria, and George Cedrenus talked about it. For these early Christians, the Book of Jubilees added to the Bible, especially Genesis and Exodus, supporting key parts of Jewish beliefs. Different Jewish groups from that time, like the Qumran community near the Dead Sea, valued the Book of Jubilees. Parts of it were found with the famous Dead Sea Scrolls, showing how widely it was known. Even though it was crucial, we don't have a full copy of the book in Greek or Latin, languages people think it was written in long ago. The only complete version we have today is in Ge'ez, which links it strongly to Ethiopian religious customs and its role in sacred writings history. From what we found in the Qumran caves with the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Book of Jubilees is more than 2,200 years old. Jews from the time of Christ and earlier, along with early Christians, used this book. Before the Dead Sea Scrolls, the only full version was in Ethiopian Ge'ez, which turned out to be very reliable. Scholars compared this Ge'ez version with the pieces from Qumran and saw they matched incredibly well, with no big changes. So, they confirmed that the Ethiopian version is a faithful translation of the ancient text. The Book of Jubilees tells a detailed story about time divisions, like the days of the law, yearly events, years in weeks, and jubilees of the world, which Moses learned about. People believe angels shared this knowledge with Moses during the 40 days and nights he was on Mount Sinai. The book's timeline is based on sevens, with jubilees being 49 years, or cycles of 7 sets of 7 years. Between 1855 and 1931, some thought a Pharisee might have written the Book of Jubilees. Scholar Robert Henry Charles suggested this, thinking Jubilees was made from interpretations that already influenced the Old Testament's chronicles. However, when the Qumran discoveries happened in 1947, people realized the content of the Book of Jubilees is much older, going back about 200 years before Christ. Pinpointing the exact time when the Book of Jubilees was written has been tough. Experts have suggested different dates based on analyzing the handwriting. Some think it's from about 100 years before Christ, while others say it could be 150, 180, or even 200 years earlier. Today, some researchers agree that the Book of Jubilees is probably a copy of a much older text, maybe from the time of Babylon or the Persian Empire. They see this copy as a version of an original document that might have been written by Moses, connecting it directly to when it was created. The Book of Jubilees talks about the Book of Enoch, recognizing it as one of the oldest records, dating back around 300 years before Christ. The Essenes, a group of people, quickly accepted the Book of Jubilees and saw it as a key source for the Aramaic document of Levi. In this text, 4 types of angels are mentioned: angels of presence, angels of sanctification, guardian angels who look after individuals, and angels who control natural events. These groups of angels are also talked about in the Book of Enoch. Both the Book of Jubilees and the Book of Enoch tell the story of fallen angels coming together with human women, resulting in the birth of giants known as the Nephilim. But why wasn't the Book of Jubilees included in the Christian holy texts? In the 4th and 5th centuries, councils like the Council of Laodicea and the Council of Carthage worked to make an official list of sacred texts for Christians. They chose books they thought were crucial and trustworthy for Christian beliefs. Books like the Book of Jubilees, already seen as non-official by Jewish scholars, were left out of the Christian sacred texts, mainly because of their connections to smaller groups like the Essenes from Qumran. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church has kept the Book of Jubilees in its official collection up to now. Ethiopian Christianity grew separately from major Western and Eastern influences, holding on to old customs and texts that other churches got rid of. They see the Book of Jubilees as an important source of wisdom and tradition about how the world began, the patriarchs' roles, and divine laws. In short, the Book of Jubilees wasn't added to the Bible because it had different ideas and religious practices that didn't match what was commonly accepted. But in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, it remains important and respected, carrying on a tradition that shows us a glimpse of a distant past and a strong faith that still matters today. I suggest that all of you read the Book of Jubilees. I hope you liked the video. If you've read the book or know about its ancient content, share your thoughts. May God bless you, and see you next time.